It's DDP. That's right, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing, the master of the diamond cutter, the three-time world champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and founder and CEO of DDP Yoga. And baby, it is time for the Towers of Powers, the men of the hour. I'm talking about my main men, the men with the plan. I'm talking about Whisky Pro and the Brews, baby. And we're bringing you the best in beerskis and whiskeys from the greatest city in the world, Dallas, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, can you dig that, baby? These guys are going to make you boys feel the bang. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Welcome in, everybody. Episode number 6.
Yeah.
We are the Unpadded podcast. I'm Whisky.
I'm Brews.
That's Brews. And
cheers.
Our slogan is one of two things. Your mom's going to love us, and we put the D in podcast. Still working on it. I don't know which one yet. I like both. So, dude, how you doing?
I'm doing damn good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing, man. So I kind of cheated a little bit. We were talking before the show. It was kind of a bum rush because my computer did an update and I had to do everything. And oh god,
look at this! Look at this beauty.
That is awesome, dude.
Look at that. Oh.
Now, what are you drinking tonight, dude?
All right, so I am cracking open the 2023 Oktoberfest from Denton County Brewery, and in their own special Oktoberfest Stein that I got a couple of weeks ago.
Dude, that is awesome.
The t-shirt is hanging in the closet.
I don't know if I ever made this announcement on the show, so I'm going to reintroduce Brews here because not only is he the co-host, the co-founder, and the co-creator, he's also our producer.
I don't know about that.
You are the producer, sir. You made the logo. You come up with a lot of rad ideas, and I really like it. So you might want to clip this next part, Bruce.
All right.
So if you paid it all to our attention at all to our Instagram or our Facebook, I've been dropping hints every once in a blue moon. We all know that Bruce loves Denton County Brewing, as do I. I've come to like their beers. I've come to enjoy going to the place, and long time coming is my favorite beer. It is the unofficial, until I get the blessing, I will say this, unofficial beer of the Unpadded podcast.
So wonderful.
The unofficial beer. So
we're gonna make it happen, dude.
No label, Denton County Brewing. What do you say?
You know, here's the issue though. Long time coming is not a
it's gonna get
not a staple, you know. Once it's gone, it's gone.
I know. But that's kind of like us, man. Once we're gone, we're gone. And this podcast has been a long time coming. And I really enjoy the beer. Every time you go up there, do they have more? Do they have more? You know, I love it. I really do enjoy it. And it's a good atmosphere. It's a cool place to go. They have all those taco trucks next door. And one of these days, my big fat ass is eventually going to go over there and just completely go ham on some tacos.
Dude, you should check out the pizza truck.
Okay.
So apparently I forgot the name of it, but there is, I mean, it's the only fucking pizza truck out there. And Denton exclusive, they used to have a store that got burned down in Denton. And so now they're kind of, from my understanding, they're starting back up again as the food truck. Super good pizza, man.
That's awesome. So I guess I better tell everybody what I'm drinking tonight.
Yeah, what are you drinking, man? Making me fucking talk all the goddamn time. What the hell?
Help me with this name, Bruce.
Tupps
Brewery. I don't know why.
Think cups, but with the T.
Okay, Tupps Brewery out of McKinney, Texas, I believe.
Yep.
I didn't know they were out in McKinney. I might have to swing in there. Oktoberfest Marzen style ale. So I kind of cheated a little bit. Here's what it looks like, and forgive my A&M cup here. Congrats to the Ags, by the way, for beating those ugly Arkansas Razorbacks this weekend. RIP to my Jets, because I think we're screwed.
Bro, you and me both.
But I gotta say, so as I drink this, I don't know. I don't mind the taste of it, but like you said, you said it perfectly. It's very bland. It's just very meh. I feel like it's missing something, but I don't know anything about Oktoberfest beers. This is like my third Oktoberfest I've ever had, so I don't really know much about Oktoberfest. It has kind of a taste to it, but I don't know if that's the ale portion, the Marzen that I'm tasting. I don't know what that taste is.
Yeah, I've definitely had better. Obviously, the 22 and the 23 Oktoberfest from Denton County, always going to be my favorites. Shiner even has a really good Oktoberfest. There's a Oktoberfest from Real Ale. That's pretty decent.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, Tupps didn't jump out. It didn't stand out for me.
That's fair. I mean, now again,
Not saying it's anything wrong with it. Not saying it's bad.
No,
it didn't jump out.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, it's not a bad beer. Like I was nervous about this beer because anybody that knows me, I do a lot of light beers. I like my Weeses, the Sucker Punch, the Long Time Coming. I like those kind of more fruity, sour beers. So when I do the Oktoberfest stuff, I get nervous, like legit. And I've said this before, dark beers make me hurl. So anytime I see Oktoberfest, I automatically think dark beer, and I'm like, oh crap. Because it doesn't matter if it's one sip or the whole beer, I'm gonna upchuck it at some point. I don't know why. I don't know if
Oktoberfests are. I mean, they look dark, but I mean, they're not your typical dark drink either.
Right. And I know the lighting sucks, but here's the beer itself.
The can looks awesome.
The can's pretty cool. I do like it. And like I said, it's not a bad beer. It's very meh. I feel like it's missing something. But again, as somebody who's not a big Oktoberfest guy, somebody who's not really familiar with beer all that much, and craft beer at that, I don't know what it's missing. I just feel like there's something that's a miss there, and I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm not educated enough as far as Oktoberfest type beers go,
right.
like the Marzens, because it seems like you don't really get a lot of Marzen type beers to try unless it's around Oktoberfest, or you're fortunate to travel out to Germany, and it's like that everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Marzen is typically on my palate around Oktoberfest, but yeah, Tupps didn't really do it for me.
Dude, we have a lot to cover tonight, and I know I always throw 20 things at you about what I think we should talk about. I have no real order to go in tonight, but I do want some, and I told you this before the show. The one thing I want to get off my chest. Did you finish The Wrestlers on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, so good. I can talk about it then.
Just a heads up. So the GoPro, if the video cuts out, I'll just bear with me. I'll switch to the other webcam.
Okay, cool. So here's my full disclosure on Wrestlers on Netflix. Amazing docuseries. Yep. Very well put together. I think there were 6 or 7 episodes, something like that. I think 7.
Yeah,
I think 7. But it was very well done. I did think that there was 1 or 2 episodes that kind of but you're going to get that with a lot of TV shows, right? You're going to have those episodes that kind of drag, or You just kind of feel like they're kind of a miss. Episode 7 or number 6, I can't remember. It was the last one they did. Spoiler alert, I'll kind of give you peel back the curtain a little bit. They Al Snow gets in the ring for the first time in X amount of years, whatever it's been, 15, 20 years. And I know 99.9% of this is just how well they put the video together, the package together. But I thought they did an amazing job. And Al Snow says that wrestling is storytelling in an art form. And the way they put that package together with Al Snow moving around the ring and getting head, and he's doing the head banging, and then it cuts back to his glory days of him being in the ring, and you see everybody's mannequin heads up in the air. To me, that moment right there toward the end of Wrestlers was like the cherry on top. It completed the whole thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I honestly, there are a few moments in TV history, whether it's sitcoms, whether it's movies, whether it's TV shows, whatever, that really stick with me. That moment is seared into my brain now. And I bet you I have watched it, and I am not joking, about 30 times. I absolutely thought that was a beautiful piece. It was a beautiful moment. And you saw the look at the end, when they had the after party and all the wrestlers were patting him on the back. You saw how happy he was.
Oh, yeah.
And just how, and he kind of said it in there. And again, this is spoiler alerts. So if you haven't seen it, go do yourself a favor. But, he said in WWE, his biggest regret was he never put himself over. He never really put himself first. And if he had to do it over again, he would have. And that moment right there when they let him go over, I mean, he deserved it. And they all knew it. I mean, without him, OVW would be gone. And it was just, it seriously was an amazing moment. And I love it, love it, love it. I wish they would put like a little 30-second clip of it on YouTube so I could download it on my phone and watch it every time I'm feeling upset. It just, I really honestly did. I loved it. I can't say enough about it. I could talk about it all night, but I loved it. Kudos to the people that put it together. Kudos to Al Snow. Kudos to OVW and that whole series, because that to me was the exclamation point for the series. And that's all I have to say about it. So,
well, I wouldn't say it's a spoiler or anything. I mean, it was on their version of pay-per-view. You know what I mean? So
right. But no, we talked about this, I think last show or show before last, that I absolutely love Al Snow. I think he's one of the greatest business minds. He's horrible with money. Found that out. Al Snow, I feel you. Me too. But he's horrible with money. But he is, as far as the business goes, he's a great mind for the business. And yeah. I would do anything in this world just to shake the man's hand and just get to talk to him for 5 minutes. Just I want to sit down and talk wrestling with Al Snow, and I want to sit down and talk wrestling with Dustin Rhodes. Two people in this business I absolutely want to sit down and just talk wrestling with them, because I think they both have amazing minds for the business.
Oh yeah.
So, and Bully Ray, you're on that list too. Don't worry, I didn't forget about you. So are you, Paul Heyman. But
see, with Paul Heyman, I would be nervous to believe anything he said. Paul Heyman is one of those. Think of MJF.
Yeah, okay.
Paul Heyman is 100% kayfabe. So even if he's telling you just a little bit behind that curtain, you don't know if he's fucking with you or what.
That's the magic of it, though. That's what I love about it. He still has that old school kayfabe.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much of this is BS and how much of this is true?
Exactly.
I
would rather sit with someone like Kevin Nash or Triple H or Shawn Michaels, where you already know, all right, when they're talking to you, this isn't Triple H, this is Hunter.
Right.
This isn't Big Daddy Cool. This is Kevin Nash. You know what I mean?
Okay.
With Paul Heyman, you don't know what the fuck you're getting.
You
see even his interviews, like, was it Inside the Ropes or when You know which one I'm talking about, right? It's like a podcast. They do all sorts of interviews with people.
Yeah.
I think it's like Inside the Ropes or Across the Ropes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was on that, he was still working the crowd. It wasn't. It was Paul Heyman, the character, and not the person. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. So I'm going to throw a curveball at our producer here. I'm going to make him think on his feet.
Go for it.
I wasn't going to do this,
I'm
but
scared.
Paul Heyman got brought up, and I had to. So Stone Cold does this on his podcast a few times, or the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. So we're going to do it here. So cheers to Stone Cold, first of all.
Well,
we're going to play a little, I think I'm saying this right, word affirmation. I'm going to say a wrestler's name, and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind that describes him. We'll do 3 or 4. We won't do a lot.
All right.
So first one that comes to mind, we'll do an easy one. Mankind.
Thumbtacks.
Okay. Brock Lesnar.
Beast.
Al Snow.
Head.
Damn it.
I mean,
all right. Gunther.
Gunther? Fuck.
That's a word.
Honestly, nothing comes to mind. I'm still on the fence with Gunther. Nothing comes to mind.
Here's why I say that. And I'm glad that's the perfect answer into this segue. See what I did there? Like I'm learning to work it a little bit. I've said this before. I'm going to say this again. Busted Open Podcast has taught me a lot about the business of wrestling, right?
Right.
I watch wrestling now as a fan and as a quote unquote wrestler. I know I'm not a wrestler. I'm not calling myself a wrestler. I just try to get into their heads. Okay. So understand that. I try to see the business side of it. That's why. So when I say wrestler, everybody knows what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
So I look at it from both aspects. Okay. I watched Monday Night Raw last night and I saw the Gunther. I don't know his name. Tomas
Ciampa or something like that.
Yeah, Ciampa, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Gunther, however you want to pronounce his name, has had 2, in my opinion, epic matches on Monday Night Raw. One with Chad Gable and one last night.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't like the character, the man playing the character has something.
Yeah. Just can't put your finger on what.
He has that ability to make anybody look good in a match. He has that ability to carry anybody in a match. Not saying that Chad Gable needed anybody to carry him. Not saying that the guy last night that he wrestled needed somebody to carry him. Just saying if it came down to it, I think he could honestly have a wrestling match with a broom and it'd be a good one. Now, is he
the fact that he went 10, 15 minutes one-on-one with Cody Rhodes at the very end of a Royal Rumble when he was number 1.
Mm-hmm.
He can hold his own weight. Absolutely.
Am I saying that he's the next Shawn Michaels? No, I'm not saying that.
No.
But he can, I think, right now on that roster. And I'm doing this on the fly, so I may forget somebody. On that roster right now that comes to my mind, I think there might be 4, maybe 5 people better than him. In my opinion. Now, my opinion doesn't mean crap. Okay? Just my thoughts. I mean, I love Chad Gable. We've established that. We know that. I think he's great. I think he's the second coming of Kurt Angle if he can keep up his momentum. Cody Rhodes, obviously. Need I say more? Let's see. Who else? I'm trying to do this on the fly here. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Finn Balor. Finn Balor's another one. Really great. Rey Mysterio, obviously a Hall of Famer. But I think Gunther he can hold his own with any of those guys. He's done it with Cody Rhodes. He's done it with Chad Gable. He did it with the guy last night. I truly think he's got something really special, and if they play their cards right, I think he's going to be in the business for 20 years. Easy.
Oh yeah.
Easy. So it's hard to segue from that to anything else that I wanted to talk about, but here's the downside to Monday Night Raw. I'm going to get into some negative stuff here, and I'm not going to try to beat anybody up. I'm not going to try to wear anybody down. Their storylines have got to, they have really amazing storylines on one side of it. They have really bad storylines on the other side of it. I feel like the women's division, they had that epic moment with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, and then all of a sudden it was like they've gone back downhill again.
Yeah.
You know, and again, no offense to the female wrestlers. I know they put their heart and soul into their work. I know that I'm talking about the writers and the storylines. That's what I'm talking about. So anybody that sees this and wants to come after me, oh, you think women wrestlers can't? No, I know any woman wrestler out there can kick my ass. I'm not stupid. I'm just saying the writing, the storylines themselves, I feel like
the storylines, yeah, they could definitely be a lot better. But with that said, even though it didn't have that great of a push from a storytelling standpoint, did you see this past weekend's NXT pay-per-view? Dude, that Extreme Rules match between Tiffany, what's her name, and the man,
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. That was fucking phenomenal, dude.
I heard it was good. I'm gonna have to go back.
I would say that is a hell of a lot better than that steel cage match between her and Trish Stratus.
Really?
I would put it above that one.
That's a bold statement, my friend.
And here's the difference, though.
That's a bold statement.
Her match with Tiffany didn't get near as much storytelling as Becky's match with oh, you got to tell me how that is. It didn't get near as much push storytelling as Becky's match with Stratus and his steel cage and the, you know, I came before you type. You know what I mean?
It smells like my breath in the morning.
Believe him, chat.
So it's
now see, you're pouring that off camera, man. That's a bitch move. You got to show the fans, man.
Do you want to know why I'm doing it off camera?
Because
it's all head.
Dude, how do you pour?
Dude, I'm holding it like way up here when I pour.
Bro, you know what? I used to do that, and Jen would make fun of me. She's like, "You're not supposed to just like hold it like this. You're supposed to tilt it at an angle, so it's like less head."
It's such a joke.
Yeah,
but
me too.
No, all right, control yourself. Stop it. I haven't watched it, but saying that it was better than Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, it was up there with Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. That's a bold statement. I'll definitely have to watch. Now you piqued my interest. Now I'm going to go watch it. Yeah. I haven't given NXT the time of day. I've watched maybe a handful of their stuff in the last, I'll say 5 years, but it's like every time I tune in, I don't gravitate toward any of the wrestlers. I don't really care about any of the storylines. It seems very rehearsed and very
I think that's why they are having some of the main roster transition over to NXT.
And that makes sense. That makes sense.
Think of it along the lines of when it was right after the Monday Night Wars, you know, right when they introduced that brand split. You looked at Raw as the premier flagship and SmackDown was the little baby sister, and they had to introduce the draft and put Undertaker over on SmackDown and Eddie Guerrero over to SmackDown and, you know, Chris Jericho. And you had to put a lot of the top stars that drew eyes over to the other brand to kind of help elevate it. I think that's what they're kind of doing for NXT. It's not going to be all developmental anymore. I think it's going to be free reign. That's nice, dude.
That's the beer.
How is it?
I haven't tasted it yet. I don't know. I'm kind of scared of this one. I don't know why. This is it's only 6.5. Okay, I was thinking when I first read this, I saw the 12 and I thought it was a 12%er. So I was like, eek. So fun story about this real quick. Okay, I'm gonna say this first. I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again. This is our show. So we talk about what we want to on here and what the fans want to, but I want to make this perfectly clear. Yes, I've had 2 beers tonight, as we can well see. We've had the Oktoberfest, and now we've had this one. I am not a drunk by any means of the imagination, but we do craft beers and wrestling on the show. So if you don't like it, you don't like that I drink multiple beers, tough titty. That being said, I don't get drunk around my kids. We know this. 903 scares me, and I'll tell you why. I don't know the percentage, but it's I had a beer from 903 Strikeout Beer gave me. It was a barrel-aged beer. I drank one, and I was done for the night.
They don't mess around, man.
So 903 scares me. But long time coming.
Why we got to go to the brewery.
Right? Long time coming is I think a 5.5% or something like that.
I think so.
This is 6.5. So I feel a little better because when I first saw the 12, I don't know if you'll be able to see that because of the light. There's a 12 on.
The can scared you.
Yeah. I saw the 12. It's 12 ounces, not 12%. But let's take a moment here.
I had one.
Ooh.
It was a chocolate chip cookie dough stout.
Oh.
Super good. Now, what is that? Caramel donut, you said?
I know dead air is bad. Sorry, but I can't. I don't know.
Mikey, I think he likes it.
I legitimately don't have an answer.
Really?
No, it smells amazing, but it tastes like cough syrup.
Bro.
It tastes like cough syrup. But the smell is awesome.
I like 903 stuff. I had one. It was like one of their concoctions with cinnamon toast crunch. That shit, dude. It was like you were drinking the cinnamon. It was like you made yourself a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch. You ate all the fucking cereal, and then all you had left over was the milk.
Oh gosh!
Of the cinnamon toast milk. That was the beer. You were drinking the cinnamon flavored milk.
So I got off on a tangent there earlier, and I'm sorry about that. But there's reasons behind it. I won't get into it on the show. Regardless, back to WWE storytelling, right? There's some storylines that I'm really not happy with, and they don't make a lot of sense to me. I don't understand why Cody Rhodes is teaming up with Jey Uso for the tag team titles. Don't get me wrong. I think that Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso as a tag team is fun to watch and it's entertaining. And yes, I don't have a problem with them fighting Judgment Day, but I don't see how them going after the titles makes sense. That makes zero sense to me. You have two guys completely on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Now, as I'm saying this, it's starting to play in my head a little bit. Again, remember, fan, business side. I try to see both sides. Hear me out on this. Try to follow with me because I know how my brain works. Cody Rhodes got Jey Uso to come to Monday Night Raw. That's at least that's the story we're going with, correct? Am I wrong on that? I think
No, I
that's
think
right.
you're right.
Okay. Judgment Day has been up Jay's butt. So maybe by putting the two together, since Cody wanted Jay with him, he could kind of get the locker room behind Jey Uso a little bit and win the locker room over, I think.
I'm looking at it in terms of they definitely need a break from the whole bloodline aspect of it. And there's no other stable out there that competes with it other than Judgment Day. So with that being said, I think, okay, you're separating Jey Uso from the bloodline. What are you going to do with him? You already know you're going to try and establish Cody Rhodes to potentially take on Roman Reigns for the title. You're wasting time with him. He's cutting these weird ass promos that don't make sense. You don't like it? I don't trust you on that. I'm going to try it out. But it's like, for them to challenge for the title makes no sense. For them to tag and go against Judgment Day, period, that kind of makes sense. I mean, what else are they going to do with them? They got to keep them both relevant.
Yeah, maybe that's it. And I just, like I said, sometimes I have to talk these things out. That's kind of why we have a podcast, so we can talk wrestling and I can try to make sense of shit.
I fully see a feud going on between Kevin Owens and Jey Uso. Not saying either one of them is going to turn heel, but it's going to be the equivalent of, say, The Rock and Stone Cold.
Now, look, wrestling is notorious for having a good guy and a bad guy, a babyface and a heel. We know this. That's why we love it, right? Something that we can relate to, have somebody to cheer for, have somebody to boo and hate, right? That's what wrestling has always been about.
Right.
However, in the 90s, it might have been before the 90s. I'm saying the 90s because that's when I noticed it, because that's when I saw it. In the 90s, you could have two baby faces. You could have Stone Cold. You could have The Rock. You could have The Undertaker. You could have Kane. You could have Shawn Michaels. You could have Triple H. You could have Batista. You could have Randy Orton. You could have two baby faces going after one another. And it was still fun. It was still cool. The crowd was into it. The crowd was digging it.
But it had to make sense.
Again, it's got to make sense. The Cody Rhodes Jey Uso team up, it makes a little more sense in my head now that I say it out loud. I still don't know if I like it. Now, I'm sure that there are plenty of other people out there that love it. I think it'd be fun to watch. It'll be entertaining for sure. I mean, they can both wrestle. They're both fun to watch in their own right. I just don't see it, man. I'm trying to understand where they're coming from, but it doesn't. I know I'm not very smart, but it's not clicking here.
In all honesty, to me, the Fastlane pay-per-view it should be Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns and Sikoa, and have John Cena and LA Knight against Judgment Day.
Well, the problem, well,
or not Roman and Jimmy Uso, brother.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Because think about it, if you're gonna have you're taking a break from Roman, but you're still keeping people interested in the bloodline, what better way than to put the one brother who left SmackDown to go to Raw go against the brother?
Right.
At the same time, you're trying to really, for lack of a better word, push LA Knight. He doesn't need the push, and why he's teaming with John Cena is beyond me.
So I'm glad we kind of got to John Cena and LA Knight. So here's my thing. I was actually looking forward to the John Cena and AJ Styles team up. However, if you think about it, AJ Styles was going to team up with Cena because LA Knight got COVID for a week. So he was off TV. So they had to do something as a filler. Why not have AJ Styles and John Cena together, right?
But against the bloodline makes no sense.
Right.
They don't already have a history.
Right. Well, and they kind of do in a sense. If you paid attention in the last month or so, AJ's kind of been, fed up with the bloodline, so he went after him. The bloodline, the bloodline beat him up, and his boys too, I think.
But that seemed rushed, and
it's
still recent enough. Like they didn't know what to do.
Right.
If you're gonna have the brothers like Jimmy Uso and Sikoa, have them go against someone that they already. I mean, it's a filler match anyway. They're not really pushing a narrative. Roman's out right now. So
why?
Huh?
Do we know why?
I think same reason Rhea Ripley took off for like a couple of weeks. Just maybe a much needed break. I mean, shit, motherfucker was like headlining show after show for like several years.
I know he's going to Saudi Arabia. Is that it?
Yeah, for Crown Jewel. Yeah. So I'm sure he just needed a break. I mean, hell, everyone does,
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, this beer's rough. Like, it's bad.
Really? Damn.
It's bad.
Got my hopes up and everything.
Smells amazing. Tastes like cough syrup. That's 903. I'm sorry. I really am. But do better, please. Oh God, this is bad. Yeah, and that's the thing with some of the storylines, and another one that I wanted to kind of touch on: Drew McIntyre. Man, what was it? 2020. Drew McIntyre literally carried this company. He put him on his back, and he won a title with nobody around. In the training facility or sports facility or whatever I forget what they called it. Basically, in a warehouse with a bunch of TVs around him. He carried this company and made WWE watchable and entertaining during COVID. And then he wasn't happy with his lack of interaction and his storytelling and the stories they were giving him. And he almost left. And then he got a big contract signing, came back. He got a kind of a big push at first. And now he's feuding with random people. It was New Day, and then it was The Miz, and it's
a very slow heel turn. Very slow.
It is, and I don't have a problem with slow heel turns. I don't. But I'm at a point to where, okay, John Cena and LA Knight are teamed up. Bloodline's doing their thing. Jey Uso left. Cody Rhodes is basically playing Raw and SmackDown. Who is he going to fight?
Because I think that's why it's slow. They already know they want to turn him heel. And I think he's okay with that. I think that was probably the one, stipulation, for lack of a better word, when he took that time off and re-signed with WWE. I think it was to reinvigorate, make him a heel. Well, the problem is, who do they have to like really have him feud against? There's nobody.
And that kind of brings me to we're kind of flying through this, but the news that I really wanted to talk about. WWE had a bunch of layoffs. A bunch.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali, who I don't know anything about. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think Emma was another person. And I'm not saying anything bad about these people. I don't know them as people. I don't know them as wrestlers. I don't know them as
Matt Riddle.
So we're going to talk about him.
He seemed to be the only one that really made sense.
Matt Riddle is fun to watch as a character, but from Dana White, from multiple sources online in the locker room and WWE officials, he's a problem, a big problem. Can't stay off the pot, which look, I don't care if pot's a drug, if it's not a drug. We're not going to get into that whole discussion. It doesn't matter. If your boss says, hey, you can't do this, we're going to drug test you every couple of months, and you do it and you get popped, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It doesn't matter if it's legal, if it's not legal. That's not the point. If your boss says, hey, you can't do this while you work for me, and you do it and you get caught, guess what? You're going to get fired. Sorry. But the point is a lot of people said he was a cancer in the locker room. Seth Rollins said he didn't want to work with him anymore. The Miz didn't want to work with him. Now, Randy Orton, I know, liked him, more or less. I know he said they butted heads, but they did get along, which is kind of an oxymoron if you think about it, but it's Randy Orton, so... I like Riddle's character. I think he's fun to watch, but I felt like they weren't doing anything with him. And if he's having that many issues in the back, it might be time to move on. So with his track record, because I know Dana White can't stand Riddle. And again, we've established this on the show. I'm a huge Dana White fan. I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. So going from somebody who watches no UFC. Sorry. But the two that really shocked me and that kind of stung was Dolph Ziggler and Edge. Now, am I mad about it? No, because here's the thing. With Dolph Ziggler, he's been a jobber. He's been a mid-card guy, low-card guy for the last few years.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't really have anything.
Hell, he did that whole shoot about fuck the company, this and that, threw the belt on the ground, and then he walked and he was off for like weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The dude needed a break. He wasn't it wasn't meshing, and that was a perfect way for them to send him off, let him get the rest and everything else that he needed.
Right.
And then when they brought him back, it was an immediate U.S. title push, everything.
And that's the thing with Dolph is I think he's one of those guys that's going to be around for a long time. Everybody loves him, from people that interview him to people that work with him. I've heard he can be a diva, but let's be honest. If you have that much money, you're probably a diva anyways. I'm talking to you, Stone Cold. I love you, but I'm talking to you. It's not just being a diva. It's knowing what you want to do with your character. And again, if it doesn't make sense, why do it? Yeah. So Dolph surprised me, though. I was surprised, but I think it was more hurt to see him go just because he's been a WWE guy for so long. But what are they going to do with him? There's really nobody for him right now. So it makes sense. I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
And Edge, look, I've been paying attention to Twitter. I've been paying attention to Instagram. I've been paying attention to Facebook and even to TikTok. I have a message for all you haters and upset wrestling fans. Just because a guy spends the last 25 years at a company and decides to leave to go to the competition, you can't be mad about that. Not the way Edge did it. Edge went out on his terms. There's nobody for him to wrestle right now. I think there was one dream match that didn't happen with Edge. He never got to wrestle AJ Styles, and that upsets me a little bit. But it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't in the cards. The timing was off. It happens in wrestling. It happens in life. It wasn't meant to be. It's not going to be. And everybody's like, well, I don't understand why he'd go to the competition. Christian is there.
Well, look at the shit that they were giving him.
Right.
Immediately after the Royal Rumble win, and he lost the opportunity for the title, they put him in this weird ass fucking Judgment Day storyline, which, depending on who you believe, in the early iterations of Judgment Day, is supposed to be like this fucking supernatural type thing. kind of like what they were going to be doing with the Brood.
Right.
And he didn't like that, so he left. And what happened? He feuded with them just a little bit, and they didn't know what to do with him afterwards.
Right. And that's the thing is people are so upset and giving him so much crap for going to AEW. He's got Christian over there, and he just released a statement. I saw it earlier. I don't know word for word, but basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, his daughter said, why don't you go to AEW and be with Uncle Christian, whatever Christian's real name is? I don't know. And you think about it. I mean, they're basically brothers. They're childhood friends. They came up in the business together. What better way to go out of your retirement than start it with the guy, or finish it with the guy that you started with?
Yeah,
you know, they work well together.
With, Owens and Zayn.
Right, exactly. You know, so it makes sense. Do I like it as a fan? No, it sucks. You know, it's kind of like that bad breakup that you have. You don't want to have it, but you know it's got to happen anyways, and blah 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 blah. But I think overall it'll be better for him. He'll enjoy himself. He'll have fun. He'll get to work with Christian. He'll get to work with Chris Jericho. He'll get to work with Matt Hardy. He'll get to work with Jeff Hardy. He'll get to work with Dolph Ziggler. There's a lot of people there. Daniel Bryant. I mean, there's
Ziggler officially signed with AEW?
I believe he is.
Okay.
If the TikToks that I watched earlier was he actually made an appearance.
Okay.
But
I know they were supposed to have a pay-per-view or like a big show either this past weekend or next weekend. Because Wrestle Dream October 1st, because that's when Edge was supposed to make his appearance.
Edge did, and I think Dolph Ziggler did as well, I think.
Then made his AEW return. Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, and I haven't watched AEW. I've tried on a couple occasions, and I just, even with Daniel Bryant, I can't. I'm just like, ugh. I'm going to try for Edge. I will. Gosh, this beer is bad, Ben. It's really bad. I can't even finish it. That's bad.
Oh, shit. So he went to AEW to fight his friend.
Yes.
I'm just now reading that he attacked Christian Cage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fuck, I'm gonna have to try and find. See, that's the one thing that I don't like too much about AEW is when they have a pay-per-view, unless you're shelling out the 50, 60, 70 bucks, you can't watch it.
What?
AEW pay-per-view is all it's still like your typical pay-per-view.
Old school pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's not, you know, hey, here's this $70, $100 pay-per-view for free. You can watch it $10 a month kind of thing.
Right. No, well, I mean, hey,
but
that's all.
If you're to believe the rumors, which is why a lot of these layoffs are going on, if you are reading between the lines, WWE at some point next year is going to transition away from their merger with Peacock. They're going to go back to the pay-per-view template. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the case. There's only going to be about 3 or 4 a year I watch, but
yeah.
I WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Hell in a Cell, Royal Rumble. Those are the ones for me.
Not at $60, $70 a pop though either.
I'd
probably do Royal Rumble because that's my favorite one.
I'll do Royal Rumble,
maybe Elimination Chamber.
Royal Rumble and WrestleMania for me.
Well, see, here's the thing: WrestleMania, you have 2 nights. Are they going to charge like $200?
Yeah, if they charge more than, I'll say $50 a night, I ain't watching. Unless they just happen to have all the wrestling that I want to see on one night.
Yeah, that ain't ever gonna happen.
But no, I mean,
I get why there were layoffs. And with Edge, it wasn't a layoff. He went out on his own terms.
Right. And that,
Maybe Ziggler did too. We don't know. But you saw it coming once it became official
No.
with TKO.
Dolph got he got laid off.
Did he?
Yeah, he
Okay.
got laid off. And again, I'm not mad at WWE for this. And that's what a lot of people are. I can't believe they did that to Dolph. I can't believe they did that to Edge. But like, look, companies have layoffs. It happens. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, you got to find a way to support your family and keep a roof over your head and pay your bills. I get all that, but the rest of 99% of those people are going to land on their feet. They have endorsements, they have deals, they have agents, they have other things already in the works by the time the layoff happens because they knew this was coming. They knew this was a possibility. It's not like they just walked into work and be like, "You're fired." It didn't work that way. You know, they have contracts, and I'm sure when they knew when their contracts were up. Well, there's been no talk. My contract's been up, almost up for a year, and nobody said anything about it. So I'm just going to assume that I'm not coming back next year.
I mean, hell, the same thing with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Their contracts expire, I think, at the end of next year.
Right. So, and I honestly, I wouldn't blame Seth Rollins or be mad at Seth Rollins if he took a couple of years off just to recover. I mean, hell, the guy's been running hard for 15 years. You know, 10 years, 15, whatever it is.
Here's what a lot of people I don't think get. Like I kind of compare WWE and how they handle the rosters to NFL. When the NFL releases somebody to make their actual 53-man roster, sometimes they'll communicate, be like, "Hey, we're letting you go, but give us a couple of days, you know, have us complete this 53-man roster. We'll bring you back." It doesn't count toward the 53-man number. And sometimes it's a worked out arrangement financially too.
Right.
Either way, 9 times out of 10, those guys come back. Same thing with wrestling. I'm viewing it as they just had a merger completed. They're not sure what the budgets are going to look like right now. They're skimming off the top right now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As soon as the dust settles down from this merger, and the sooner they can actually start bringing in a lot more money, especially from the UFC side, you're going to see a lot of these people come back.
There's a dude from the old UFC days, and this might have been MMA days. I don't know. I don't know his name, but when you know him, or when you see him, you'll know him. He had a mustache. He was a cowboy-looking dude. Had a really dark
Don Fry?
voice. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But there's a bunch of
Dude,
names.
you explained them in 3 words, and I think I fucking figured it out.
What's his name? Don Fry?
Don Fry, Frye.
Yep.
Is that him?
Yep.
I fucking told you, bro.
Don Fry,
shit, man.
his memes are amazing.
Don Fry is hilarious. I love him.
I watched a couple of. I got sucked into a TikTok rabbit hole today on lunch, and I found like 27 memes and TikToks of Don Fry, and I was just like, yep. That is a man's man right there.
Oh yeah.
So, see, I used to watch MMA before it became what it is now. When there was a lot less rules, it was a lot more in your face kind of stuff. And then I watched Chuck Liddell, but it never failed. Anytime I watched Chuck Liddell, he lost. Like the few times that I watched UFC with Chuck Liddell, he lost. I was like, okay.
And I've been watching them since the very, very beginning. You know, when you kind of had to sneak around and find a one satellite subscription that would carry the UFC pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Otherwise,
Right.
when I worked at Blockbuster when I was a teenager, dude. I would watch like all the old VHS tapes of the original UFCs.
Right.
You know, prior to Zuffa and Dana White coming in. But as much as I liked the old UFC, things change. Fuck it. I mean, they were still not regulated back then.
Right.
Like you have a professional, you're bringing in billions of dollars and you're paying these guys. If you want to be taken legitimate and serious, you're going to have to be regulated. That's where the commissions came in.
Yep.
And more the rules and the weight classes were established. Same thing with football, man. You watch old football games from the 70s, like fucking Steelers or the Raiders, or they're stomping on people, not trying to get over them, but fuck you, stay down.
Right.
And taking their time to get back to the scrimmage. And the refs look at this and be like, I don't want to mess with you. And they let it go. I mean, the rules have changed so much. Football right now is not the same as it was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
The football's not the same since I played. And
Yeah.
I graduated in 04.
Same thing with UFC. Same thing with wrestling. You know, it just depends. You know, you have the memories, I wish I remember back when kind of stuff, you know?
Right. How many falling headbutts do you see now?
Oh, yeah.
How many chair shots to the head do you see now? You know, I mean, the 90s, the early 2000s, our society was. I'm not going to get into some big long speech here, but it wasn't what it is today. It was a lot more in your face, a lot more violent, and we've changed. We're good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. Things change. Regulations are put in place to protect people and to make things safe for people. So some people like it, some people don't. I'm on the fence about a lot of it, honestly. So I don't know. We'll see and go from there. But Don Fry he cracked me up, man. But my point to the whole UFC thing was it never failed. The moment that I started liking a UFC fighter, they would lose.
Chuck Liddell was always my favorite.
Chuck Liddell, and then we talked about him before on the show briefly. I think his name was Penn. He was a Marine.
BJ Penn.
Yep. He was a Marine. I liked him. I watched one fight with him, and he lost in the second round. And then I started to like Conor McGregor, and he did something that pissed me off. I don't remember what it was.
I need to send you a list of UFC fights to watch on YouTube, and you give me your honest opinion of like what you think of the fights, what you think about the fighters, how it went, whatever. I'm going to send you a couple of fights to watch, and you got to genuinely watch them before the next show.
Okay, fair enough. I can do that.
I'll do this. 2 UFC, 1 boxing. I got a banger of a boxing fight for you to watch, man.
I only know 3 boxers. 6 boxers.
6. The number keeps going up. Which one is it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Evander Holyfield.
Okay.
George Foreman.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
My personal favorite, just because I love saying his name, Joe Frazier.
Okay.
Manny Pacquiao.
Okay.
And then there was I don't know his name. I'll throw Butterbean in there if you want to.
What about De La Hoya?
De La Hoya, I know him.
What about Mayweather?
Mayweather, I know him.
Diego Corrales. Marco Antonio Barrera.
Nope.
Eric Morales.
Nope.
Antonio Tarver.
Nope.
Bernard Hopkins.
Nope.
What the fuck?
There's one.
Okay, maybe more than one boxing fight then.
There's one boxer that I liked as a kid, and we watched him on HBO Boxing. I don't know his name. I don't even know what nationality he was, but his nickname was Prince, and he always had leopard print.
Prince Hassim Named.
I thought he was Mexican.
Boom. No, he was
He was. It was from the 90s.
Yeah. He had to give up boxing and go back to where he came from because it was during like a terrorist kind of thing and people were fucking with him.
Prince
Hassim Named.
I'm not even going to try to spell that.
Hang on, I'm trying to find him now.
Prince Hassim Hamed.
Or Nassim. My bad. Nassim. He
looks like me now.
He was from he was British.
That's him. That's where I know him from.
Nassim Hamed.
You can't see it on the camera. I know this is horrible. But yeah, he had the leopard print. He had this stupid thing. Hang on. Maybe if I turn. Is that better? Nope. Is that better? A little bit. I don't know. Anyways.
So the thing was he's from England, but he's Muslim, and in the early 2000s, I don't know what, something was going on politically, and he literally feared for his life. He was getting a lot of death threats because he was Muslim, and he went back to England.
Okay, fair enough.
But dude, he had a banger of a fight against Marco Antonio Barrera. That's one of the greatest fights. I would say that's in my top 10 of greatest fights.
I might have seen that fight because I remember watching him a lot as a kid.
He was an awesome showboater too. You hit him, he'll drop his hands. He's like, all right, hit me again.
Yep.
Oh, I loved him, man.
So those are the ones that I know. So 7 total.
So, okay, what about Miguel Cotto? He just recently fought. No?
Something Jones. What is it? Lennox Jones?
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis, and then there was
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr. And then the one that oh gosh, Tyson bit his ear off.
Holyfield, you already said him.
Okay. But my favorite personal boxer, and even though he was before my time, I liked watching the old school Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, and I loved hearing that announcer, Frazier. I loved hearing it. So Frazier is my all-time personal favorite, just because my great grandfather used to have video of him, and he would show me all the old boxing matches, and it was just fun to watch.
Dude, I remember finding old videos, and this was even back in the time where they didn't even film it. It was nothing but the radio broadcast. But I remember watching Joe Johnson back in like the 50s or something. He was the first black heavyweight champion, to my knowledge.
Wow.
I mean, dude was like, in my opinion, he was bigger than Frazier, man. Like, he was knocking people out. The aura around Joe Johnson, dude, you gotta check him out, man.
What was Sugar Ray Leonard? Remember him? Kind of. Sort of.
Sugar Ray, yeah. Sugar Ray Leonard. Marvin Hagler.
Don't know him. Tommy Gunn.
Leonard. You know Leonard, but you don't know Hagler?
Uh-huh.
They had like one of the greatest trilogies ever in the sport.
Oh. Maybe I watched it. I don't know it.
Oh my god, dude, you're killing me, Smalls.
Tommy Gunn, I remember him.
You only remember him because he was in Rocky.
I love Rocky. Leave me alone. But man, I got nothing else. You got anything?
No. Surprisingly, my GoPro stayed at like 25% battery. So
Hi, Jed.
TJ says hi.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Didn't mean to come in a shot.
You're fine. Yeah, I got nothing else, man. I was honestly a little worried about tonight's show because I knew there was so much that I wanted to talk about. And I don't mean to just like throw like 100 topics at you, but it's just when they come to me, man, I'm just like, hey, let's talk about this.
No, I got you. Shit. I mean, that's the same way when, like, as you probably just now noticed, it's the same way with me and boxing and UFC. I mean, that's my thing, you know.
I got into the women's UFC for a little bit, and then of course, back in my single days, I really got into Ronda Rousey for a bit. I was quickly over that. There was another female UFC fighter that I really liked, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember her name. I just know she had blonde hair and she was really small. All I know.
Blonde hair and small. Holly Holm.
I had no. It was one Holly Holm. I don't know.
She was a professional boxer before UFC.
I thought she was a kickboxer.
I think she did both.
Hey, it's the caramel donut. Smell it first. Really? You don't like that smell?
Don't trust him.
It's the first time I've seen her gag. Hey, give me a rating from 1 to 5 on that beer.
What?
Give me a rating on 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Give me a rating on that beer.
Be nice.
1 being the worst?
Yes.
Negative.
She says.
Oh, I need to have a talk with her soon. Oh.
I guess we do need to rate our beers. So I'm gonna start with the bad one. 903 caramel donut. It smells amazing. I love the smell. The taste, I couldn't finish it. I got halfway through it and I couldn't finish it, dude.
Would you go to the brewery and try others from them?
Reluctantly, yes, for you.
Yes. Okay.
We're gonna have to have a DD though.
That's what Uber's for. Yep.
That's a long ass Uber. Oh God, I can't believe I'm gonna say this live, but I am. Before I say that, I want to say this. 903, I know y'all are an amazing place. Y'all have great reviews. Everybody that I've talked to about you guys has nothing but positive things to say. But for me, somebody who's new to the beer scene, who's still getting used to the palates, the tastes, it's a no for me, dog. I gotta give you my lowest rating of the show so far. I gotta give you a 1.
903, don't hold it against me, man.
I'm sorry. I really am. Caramel donuts just smells amazing. Taste is just not there for me. You want to rate your beer?
I'd give it 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
I'd give it 4.5.
So, Tupps Brewing out of McKinney, Texas.
Yo.
Oktoberfest. You know what? I didn't mind this beer. It's one of those beers. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I could see myself having one of these if somebody gave me one, or if I went to the brewery and I was like, I've had that beer. Let me get one. I'm going to give it a 3. I just felt like it lacked flavor. It was very bland for me. And like you said, you described it perfectly, man. It's bland. It's good. It's just bland. I didn't mind it. I wouldn't go seek this beer out again, but
killer Oktoberfest.
Awesome. So yeah, man, I don't know. That's what worries me about craft beers is I just don't know if my palate's just not there yet. I have a
They're
very
hit or
weird.
miss. You just got to develop it, really. You know,
Um,
stick with what you know, stick with what you like, and we'll build from there.
But I've got some other Oktoberfest beers. I got a Love Street beer that I'm looking forward to. It's a new Love Street beer that they just came out with. I think it's called Citrus. There's a few others. There's a pumpkin ale that I got, which makes me nervous because I'm not a big pumpkin fan. Like I don't like.
Love Street, you said?
Yeah, Love Street. The official beer of the Roger Creager Band, my all-time favorite band. So,
Where are they from? I've never heard of them.
Love Street, I think they're Dallas, maybe.
Dude, it's Carbach. Is it?
Yeah, Carbach. Yeah.
Son of a bitch, man. That's Houston.
Oh, is it? My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm over here thinking, I'm like, what's this Love Street Brewery? I've never heard of them. As soon as you said Love Street, I'm like, is he talking about the Carbach drink?
Yeah. Carbach. It is
okay.
Carbach. Yeah.
Okay.
The official drink of the Roger Creager Band is the Love Street. They have a citrus one that I'm anxious to try because I liked Love Street. I didn't love it, but I did like it. So I like citrusy flavors. I love lemon. I love limes. I love sour. So when it said citrus, I was like, I'm all over it.
Dude, I loved going to that brewery. I mean, that was a phenomenal place to go to.
I hate Houston with a passion. So
I'm not. I'm on the fence about it. I went
Houston.
there brewery hopping with a few of the fellas, and we went to St. Arnold's, Carbach. We went to Austin Beer Works.
I can't go to Austin. It's against my religion.
We went to Celis. Well, no, Austin Beer Works. It's in Houston. Is the name of the brewery.
Oh, okay. I just can't go to the city of Austin.
Why?
I'm an Aggie.
Ooh.
That's fighting words.
See, as soon as you start talking about college ball, I have no clue.
A&M and Texas Longhorns are basically like Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers. Or
Gotcha.
The Steelers and the Ravens.
Gotcha.
So, I think my mouse just died. No, it didn't. There it goes. Okay. Man, I've got nothing else. We're going to have to talk off stream because soon, and I'm thinking October, I just don't know when yet. I would like to try to do a live show from Denton County Brewery. Maybe plan a Saturday or Sunday to go out there. Okay. I don't know when yet. You know the reasons why. We won't get into it on the show, but we'll try to plan something to go out there one Saturday or Sunday and have a live show, have people come out and drink some beers with us. See if we can find any wrestling fans because I'm curious. If you don't want to talk about it on the show, you don't have to. But you did tell me that you were planning a trip with one of your kiddos here soon.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of if finances are good enough. But
okay.
There is, let me bring it up. Wrestling Revolver.
Ooh.
And it looks like let's see, the one that I was interested in was going to be in Grand Prairie over at the Epic. And they travel all over the place. Like there's a show in Iowa in December. October 8th, they're going to be in Dayton, Ohio. You know what I mean? It's www.prowrestlingrevolver.com.
Huh. Okay.
And they show their events on pay-per-view on Fight TV.
Okay.
So,
oof.
I mean, hell, dude, $30 for floor tickets. Come on now.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to make an announcement on the show. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit. Sorry, not sorry. Another thing we need to do soon, and it didn't have to be this month. It can be next month. We're going to have to make our way out one Friday, or I think it's Friday nights or Saturday nights. I don't remember. to MPX Wrestling, Metroplex Wrestling out in Hearst. I got to give them a quick shout out because last year I met a guy by the name of Big Fitz, Fitz, Big Fitz. He's on Instagram, TikTok. He's on all the socials. Go check him out. A sweetheart of a guy, and he is a miniature Big Show. He's not as big as the Big Show, but he's close to it. But he's an absolute sweetheart. He was in the Army. He was there. He was at the aftermath of the Pentagon on 9/11. He's got some really good stuff. He wrestles for a few different organizations here in the Metroplex in Dallas-Fort Worth. But just I can't say enough good things about him. I'll sing his praises all day long. Great guy, really approachable, really nice guy. I was going to go to school out there last year, and then they almost got shut down, but a private, basically a fan, saved the company. Tommy Dreamer has been out there. Hornswoggle has been out there. Tommy Dreamer, there's even a clip of Tommy Dreamer talking about Metroplex Wrestling, saying that North Texas is a staple for some of the wrestlers, and wrestling is well and alive in North Texas. So we've got to make our way out there, go see him, maybe go wreak some havoc. But I really think it's important that we kind of get out there and go see him. And there's another one that I'm interested in. They come to town about twice a year. I follow them on TikTok as well. Micro Wrestlers.
Like midget wrestling?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Anybody that knows me knows that I am obsessed with little people. Midgets. There, I said it.
All right, you let me know when they'll be in town, and I say we go.
They have little pop-up shows. Sometimes it's in a parking lot. Sometimes it's in a high school stadium. Sometimes it's other areas. But I've seen them before. I know my uncle's gone twice, and he loved it. He had a blast. Their shows look like a lot of fun. They're really interactive with the crowds. But we got to go.
Well, I mean, so I'm game for that. I'm game for MPX. They are one company that I looked at going before Revolver, but the only problem is they don't sell individual tickets. Not that I saw. They sell monthly passes. So for like 50, 60, 70 bucks will get you into all 4 shows of any given month.
Okay.
If I want to just go to like one show, though, you know,
I've got Big Fitz on speed dial on Facebook Messenger. I will message him sometime this week. I'm very careful because I don't want to be one of those people that bug him. But if I see him on Facebook Messenger and he's active, I will message him and I will ask him if they have individual tickets.
Okay.
But like I said, I was going to join them last year. Some things came up. I couldn't financially. It's a drive because they practice like Mondays, Wednesdays, and then they have a show I think on Fridays or Saturdays. So I didn't get a chance to do it, and I'm Big Fitz. If you ever see this, I'm sorry, man. It wasn't in the budget, and I really want to. But just to go see a show, I think would be fun. Now, will Big Fitz be there? I don't know. But regardless, I'm all about supporting local and small businesses. So
I want to eventually make a road trip out to OVW.
Dude, you are speaking my language because I'm going to tell you right now, and I will say this live. I don't care if I ever got to meet Al Snow, I would cry like a baby because that is awesome. And after seeing that episode, that final episode, like we talked about at the start of the show, yes, absolutely 110%. What I don't understand, and maybe this is part of the show because I think they're coming back with a season 2. I don't know if they are. I don't understand how some of these other organizations aren't helping them out with money. I mean, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Batista, Randy Orton, Sheldon Benjamin. Oh, Sheldon Benjamin was another one that got cut from WWE.
That's right. I remember that.
You know, that was another kind of it was a shock just because you knew Sheldon Benjamin was there, you know, and you figured that was just his home. That was his landing spot. But again, you know, you go back to the storylines, there was nothing for him. I think Sheldon Benjamin and Chad Gable would put on a hell of a show. Or Sheldon
Maybe.
Benjamin,
Yeah.
you know, if he goes to AEW, him and Dolph Ziggler, him and Daniel Bryant. I don't know about Chris Jericho anymore. I've seen a couple of his matches, and while they're good, they don't really stand out to me anymore. I don't know if that's age. I don't know if he's just kind of there. I don't know, because Jericho's got a lot going on. He does the Dark Side of the Ring stuff. He does his podcast, his band.
I love Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to sound like I'm criticizing him. I'm not. I love Jericho, but anytime he's in the wrestling ring, I feel he is like the equivalent of one of those old-time rock and roll guys that is still kind of clinging to the stage.
I got you. No, and I don't necessarily think that's a criticism. I mean, that's just, you know,
He is not, to me, he is not the Y2J anymore. He is now more musician than anything else. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to do a podcast over here, and I got ice maker just clinking away in her metal cup.
You leave her alone. She sided with you on that 903.
She did. She did side with me on the 903 because it's not very good. Sorry, 903. Brews is sticking up for you over here. That's what's going on. We're still live, by the way. Thank you.
I knew I liked him.
Yeah.
So I know he's a lot nicer than I am. I'm a dick. So, all right, man. Well, it's been a great show. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait for next week. I think we got Fastlane this Saturday, which they could not have timed it at a worse time, because this weekend I am going to be in front of the TV. It's Texas OU weekend. The only time I say this, Boomer Sooner, baby, because I've never in my life will pull for Texas ever. And A&M plays Alabama, which actually A&M has a chance to win. So I'm excited. A lot of good stuff going on. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm trying to post as much as I can. I posted a new TikTok today on TikTok. Go over there, check us out, Unpadded Podcast. And I'm Whiskey.
Bruce.
Keep it between the lines. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. Later.